It's time you stop trying to make a physical structural issue a mindset or emotional issue. You already have the skill, the excellence, the experience, and the results. You don't need any more of that for right now. When you diagnose a structural issue as an emotional one, you spin in circles, collapse, and you never get to solve the problem. So you just keep replicating it. Hi, I'm Naomi Tayo, and I am the Wealth Priestess, and I awaken and initiate governors, unprecedented leaders, and originating founders into their wealth. And I give them the blueprints to fully execute their destinies. I am here to help you stop shoving an 100 million gallon vision into a 30 million gallon container, and to finally build the architecture that can hold the full sheer weight and scale of your vision. You'll always hear coaches talk about becoming more embodied or having a more sustainable mindset. Then you'll hear a strategist tell you that you need better systems or you need a VA. Both aren't wrong. Don't get me wrong. That advice isn't wrong. It's just that your frame of thinking, your structural diagnosis is imprecise. We've been taught to look at lack of cash flow or scale as a money or mindset issue. So you inevitably try to fix the parts of your business that touch on those areas. But what if you are already proficient in those areas? Why is the ceiling still there? It's important to recognize when something is a structural issue versus everything else. Sometimes the needing moving action really is just updating your messaging, hiring a mentor, being more consistent, getting better at your back-end systems, or finding somatic safety in your body to expand. Other times, it's just pure, hard, cold structure. It's just a structural issue. You're just trying to execute something inside of a container that it's structurally incompatible with. It's like trying to launch a trendy Gen Z centered Pilates studio in the middle of a retirement town in Florida. The geographic containment is wrong. You cannot execute an 100 million gallon vision into a 30 million gallon container. Imagine that kind of collapse at scale. Imagine 100 million gallons of something pouring into a 30 million gallon container until you reach, up until you reach 30 million gallon mark in that container, things might be fine. But once you start inching above that, it's going to implode on itself. It's going to leak and flood. It's just going to be a mess. So you can imagine the somatic cost of that, the structural cost of that. This structural problem shows itself in constantly building, rebuilding, holding your company or your business together with your willpower and force, never having enough momentum to really take off, losing everything and having to start over, a high turnover rate for teams. This is why you haven't produced the outcomes you want. When you really are that excellent, precise with what you're doing, and you still keep hitting that same wall, it's because you're trying to pour so much life force, so much energy into a containment system that lacks the proficiency to hold the scale of what you're trying to build. Wealth requires adequate containment so there can be proper circulation. I have a bunch of videos out already about wealth, and if you haven't already, there's a playlist linked down below so you can watch all of them. But wealth is the expression of your life force expressed and circulating within the correct containment architecture. And as a person with high magnitude, you are someone who has a lot of life force, and that's a lot of power. That's why I use the analogy 100 million gallon vision. Imagine trying to put 100 million gallon vision into a container that is meant to hold a simple bakery in a small town. You see how that doesn't make sense? On July 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern, I am inviting 25 unprecedented leaders, founders, governors, and originators of high capacity and high magnitude to join me to receive the blueprints and to map the architecture and containment structures that can actually hold the entirety of their wealth. And this is my transmission titled The Originator's Wealth Cycle. My Originator's Wealth Cycle is a 3.5-hour-long structural diagnostic and mapping transmission built exclusively for the high-magnitude leaders and founders who have outgrown and outpaced every traditional framework because their vision is really just that big. By the end of this session, you will have the blueprints and map to navigate and architect the exact containment structures you need to actualize the entirety of your wealth. If you know you're meant to be there, if you know that you've been trying to push this ginormous vision into containment that is just completely inadequate for it, and you need to have the blueprints to build from containment that's actually sustainable for the sheer scale of what you're trying to build, click the link down below to apply. Anyways, I'm Naomi Olatayo, the Brand Priestess, and I thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.